What's going on, everybody? We are back on HBCU Pulse Radio on SiriusXM channel 142 HBCU. As you
Let's
already know,
go.
we're rocking on Howard University SiriusXM operated channel. So I
Yes.
had to get for Kappa Founders Day for J5, a
Yes,
Howard
sir,
University. Yeah, Howard University alumni in the
Man,
building.
let me tell you, Howard is it, man. The real HU. The real
Hey,
HU.
listen, I got Dr. Q in the building. I got to say it's a real HU because y'all put me on radio, man. Y'all been on radio, Dr. Q?
Absolutely. That's crazy. Let me tell you, Howard is just amazing. I love Howard. Absolutely love Howard and love DC.
First and foremost, like I said, it is Kappa Founders Day, and you are a brother of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling great. Let me tell y'all, I'm filled with so much like love, and my staff. Number one, they came in happy J5. They started me off right. Once I came into the office, we had a couple surgeries today, but just feeling the love from like my line brothers, my frat brothers, just the whole organization. Because one thing we build ourselves on is achievement. And just being able to achieve in every field of human endeavor is like the number one goal for us. And like, I'm just so elated. Number one, I'm elated to be here with you and to talk about, my home, my heart, Howard University, and also my fraternity, the ones, the bros, the best of the preps, the newps, the real newps. And it's really good. It's been great. Today's been great.
So let's get into your Howard experience. So first and foremost, I want you to just give me a summation of what your Howard University experience meant to you, because you really just talked about it. But I want you just to give me your best summation about how Howard University changed you and your life.
Coming into Howard University, it was, so one thing I would say, coming from Tennessee to DC was the biggest change. You know what I mean? I went up there by myself on a whim, like I want to become a doctor. That's what I know. But in the midst of that, I ran into a lot of number one newps before I even became a noob, who really helped me integrate myself into like Howard University in itself, figuring out classes, just culture and things like that. But from my freshman year, I ran into a lot of great people. And I think during that college experience, it allowed me to grow and learn myself, how I thought, who I was as a man, as a person, the beliefs I stood on, and really connecting with some amazing people, which is why Howard is just like always my heart. Because number one, I have my undergraduate, and then number two, I have my doctorate from the same place. Howard is the place where you can be Black and educated and really be prepared for the outside world. One thing I'm gonna say, like, I absolutely adored my experience from freshman to senior year. And now that it's J5, I crossed Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated in spring of 2017, my senior year, and it was the great culmination of like my experience, just being a part of a brotherhood, but outside of my fraternity's brotherhood, but just the family of Howard University. So it was amazing. I loved my experience totally. Sometimes I feel like I want to go back to relive some things twice, but other than that, it's been pretty great. It's been pretty great.
So let's talk about that. I mean, so we're talking about Howard University and your amazing time there. Like, give me one experience at Howard that was your favorite experience that if we had a time machine, you'd love to relive.
All right. I'm not even going to lie. That we can relive the entire week after I crossed Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Like, let me tell you, from the day I crossed, it was words cannot even explain how I felt, number one, and just understanding the people that came before me and those shoulders I stand on. It's just like it had so much emotions to it. And let me tell you, Howard, you can't step on Howard's campus unless you fly. You know what I mean? So I remember being fly from day 1 to day 7. Like, it was amazing. And coming out with my fraternity at Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, it was definitely dope. Like, I can relive the day I crossed. The day I crossed was amazing. Tail Club and being the tail of my line, it holds so much responsibility. And in addition to that responsibility, we had so many programs that we did at Howard University, really giving back to the community around Howard, because DC is Chocolate City. So just, engulfing ourselves in the community. But in addition to that, we had so many parties, so many we did a lot of things on the yard, and just enjoying that time period was phenomenal. So if I can go back, it will be that entire week of us just kicking it, doing what God intended for us to do as a fraternity, and having fun at it. Like, you know what I mean? Howard is the vibe. Like, if you want the vibe, you got to make sure you come to Howard. And if I could do anything, I'll go back to that experience.
So I got to ask you about this, because like the experiences that you had at Howard sound amazing. But one thing that I really grapple with, because I graduated from Fort Valley in December 2019, and like life hits. Yeah, as you know, life hits post graduation, and I want students that are at HBCUs currently to know how it hits. So I want you to talk to me about what your post-graduation journey was like, both just immediately getting out of undergrad and also, going to get your doctorate in dentistry.
So one thing I would say is after graduating, it took a lot of mental stability, and you have this switch in your mind. Number one, knowing that Howard has prepared you for everything that's to come, because like I said, that Howard culture of being a part of that family, we hold each other to a high standard, when it comes to interviews, figuring out what you're doing for your career, outside of us having a good time, being great professionals is it, leadership, excellence, truth, and service is everything that we stand on at Howard University. Okay. And so once I graduated, it was a real shift. I had just become a noob. And in addition to me becoming a noob, it was one of the most serious times of my life, because now I'm stepping into my profession where I'm working on becoming a healthcare provider. And when becoming a healthcare provider, I'm the first doctor in my family, thank God. And I thank God every single day. But with that, it's hard because I'm doing something nobody in my family has ever done. So I knew the pressure. I knew how important it was for me to do it properly, and for me to be a great doctor, and learning how how my brain operated, and just believing in myself was one of the big things. And if I have any advice for anybody graduating college, figuring out their professional lives, is number one, believe in yourself. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Keep that in your mind and understand that God has equipped me for this. Everything that He wouldn't give you anything that you're not capable of. So that transition, it was hard. It was some trying times. I went through a roller coaster of emotions. But one thing I'm gonna say is J5, and having my core group of line brothers there to support me throughout every aspect was amazing. And even outside of my line brothers, my core group of friends, So like I said, it was rough, but it was good, And like at the beginning of this year, we just started 2023. I thank God for the hard times, the times where it really pushed me. And I feel like those are the times that really create us as human beings and who we are as people.
So I think that that's powerful. And another thing that's powerful is representation, because that's something that I see 1,000%, because I've been watching a lot of legal shows, and I'm like, man, if I watched legal shows when I was like younger, I'd be a lawyer. I'd be making money.
Exactly.
Because it's like representation is so powerful. And that's what, I grapple with in media. So a lot of folks want to be dentists. Like they want to get into the medical field. They want to do these things, but they want to see that as possible. So let's talk about that. Like, tell us about your experience at Howard University College of Dentistry.
My experience at Howard University College of Dentistry was phenomenal. And when I say phenomenal in a way that even the hardships that we went through as a dental school, or me as a student, it prepared me for the real world, And one thing I'm going to say is, Howard, we believe in Black excellence. We believe in Black doctors. We believe in giving a Black person a chance. So while I was at school, sometimes it was a little bubble, because after I graduated, I end up attending, some continuing education courses or some dental conferences. And I look into the crowd, and it's only like 4 of us, And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I don't know if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram or whatever the case may be, but on my TikTok, representation is so important, because, I don't know how many dentists you had, with braids. And in addition to that, by me being and allowing people into my space on TikTok. They're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen a black doctor. Oh my gosh, I've never seen a black dentist. I've never been to a black dentist. I've never seen anyone that looked like me have this standard of care or could be a professional person. You know what I mean? So representation is very important, which is why um, I take it to heart when I speak to the youth, speak to, just students in the world, just allowing them to know, you can be a doctor just as I am. If I did it, you can do it too.
So to the youth, especially the students that are at their HBCUs, and I really want to really reach out and talk to the ones that are at their four-year institutions that are trying to make it, because the course, yes, the coursework gets hard. Things happen. We just dealt with the COVID pandemic, and a lot of these students had to deal with online schooling. So what is your advice to these students that want to get in the medical profession and be successful at such a young age, just like you?
One thing I would say is self-discipline. And it takes a level of maturity and understanding that even though I am at this place in life, I do have a few things that I do need to be serious about, and my advice is to, number one, trust yourself, but give your all every single day, no matter how big, how small. Always give your all, regardless of whatever your name is on. When it comes to you studying, you going to like a study group, a conference, whatever the case may be, really just giving it your all and try and focus. When it's time for school, it's time for school. One thing I say about Howard is when it's time for business, it's time for business. We work hard and we play harder, right? So once we are working, it's really time for us to focus on defying all odds, letting the world know that we are just as smart as you are, even smarter, and it takes us to be those trailblazers, to break those glass ceilings. So my advice to stay focused on your GPA, study for your DAT. And when you're studying for the DAT or the MCAT, you don't want to hear this, but put that Instagram, that TikTok, all socials down. I took a 90-day study break. All I did from Monday through Saturday, and then Sundays it was God and relaxation. But Monday through Saturday, no Instagram, no TikTok, no Twitter, and really just hone in on my studies and know that, weeks of sacrifice will lead to a lifetime of paradise. So right now it might be tough. It might be very tough, but you have to just put in the work in the beginning so that you can become a doctor.
I want to talk about, your celebrity clients. And I definitely, you already know we're HBCU folks. So we're reaching out to the students. So we gotta talk about Big Glow. All right, we gotta talk about Glorilla. Let's go. Listen, you're from Memphis, Tennessee, and Glorilla is one of your clients, and she really bigs you up. So talk to us about how you connected with Glorilla and started being her dentist.
Well, I think so. After I graduated, I've only been a doctor for about a year, and I want to say like 6 or 7 months. I graduated in 2021 May, and after I started seeing patients, the world has started to see my work and see how I pay attention to detail, the way I create a smile, the way I design a person's smile, where I'm not just giving everybody the same thing. It's individualized treatment to where your veneers fit you. They look natural. They are enhancing your overall aesthetic as a person. So one of my friends gave me a call. She's in Atlanta. Shout out to XO. Her name is Michaela, and she owns a clothing brand out in Atlanta, Georgia. And she called me. She said, "Hey, Glow is here, and she's looking to get her teeth done. And I've seen your work, and I'm finna send her your way." You know what I mean? And after Glow, she took a look at my Instagram. She took a look at my TikTok, and she was like, "You're the person I want to go to. You are the person that can design and create something that I will fall in love with, that will enhance my overall aesthetic." Because number one, Glow is already confident, but once she got them teeth, it just took it through the roof. It took it through the roof. And that's one thing I love about my profession, because there were times where I wasn't confident in myself, and it allows a person to see themselves in a better light. And when I tell you, Glow reached out, and I was like, all right, F and F, on the headlights. And I was like, she's from Memphis and I'm from Memphis. So I love being able to connect with people with similar backgrounds. So it was a match made in heaven. And like I said, God aligned that. So it was great.
Hey, listen. So I remember I was listening to the Breakfast Club, right? Because I listened to the Breakfast Club. Shout out to Hampton alumnus DJ Envy. You know the HU situation, but representation matters. He's on the Breakfast Club. He went to Hampton. You know what I'm saying? And they interviewed Glorilla, him and Charlemagne. And I want to play that moment for folks that didn't hear it, where Glorilla shouted you out, really just in a regular conversation where Charlemagne had complimented her veneers. So let's check it out.
That's a great veneer job. I didn't know you had veneers. So you said it just now? No. Because usually new artists with veneers be big. Yours look
Shout out
regular.
Dr. Curry.
Dr. Who?
Dr. Curry from Memphis.
Okay.
Man, that shout out was so, he was like, Dr. Who? Dr. Q. So how did it feel, just getting that shout out on nationally syndicated radio, The Breakfast Club?
Let me tell you, every time someone compliments my work, I'm filled with joy. I'm filled with nothing but gratitude, because without God, I wouldn't be here to really bring somebody's, smile to life. But that interview in particular was pivotal, because I'm building my own office, right? And with me building my office, I'm like, God, I want to hear a sign from you. And that interview just dropped randomly. And the good thing I'm gonna say about anybody, and whatever you do in life, when you do good work, people would notice it. It wasn't on a pamphlet like, let's bring up her teeth at the Breakfast Club. He was like, oh my gosh, your teeth just look great. And I was just filled with love. I don't know if I shedded a tear or not, but I was just like, bro, like I text Glow. We were talking. I was like, Glow, that's crazy. She was like, I love my teeth, doc. Like, these are amazing. Like, you're my dentist for life. And I was like, I love you so much. And I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. And it was dope. It was dope.
Sometimes you just need to hear the affirmation, like when you're doing your thing and you're doing it, but just the affirmation, especially on that level, on that platform, that means something. But I want to ask you about this, because that's the Breakfast Club. That is like, a platform in our culture. That's millions of people listening. That's hundreds of millions of people that's seeing the clips and everything on social media. So what was it like for your social media and your business after that shout out from Glorilla?
Oh, let me tell you, even before the shout out, Glow has exponentially allowed my business to elevate. And after the shout out, it went up even crazier. You know what I mean? But the idea is that I can't be more thankful to, number one, do good work, but number two, for her to love her smile so much that she wants to give a shout out. So that shout out was amazing. And what it did for my business, like I said, I'll be booked up for 6 and 8 months. I'm booked for 6 and 8 months, 6 to 8 months, to where I'm like, I can't believe this, guy. Like, is this true? Is this real? And like I said, I'm just so grateful, super grateful.
Wow. And now I'm really happy for you, man, because I know like that can be such a euphoric feeling when you've been working, and it finally comes to pass and you've been working.
And I say this to anybody that's looking to be a doctor, anybody that's working towards anything, that work on your craft, because when God presents you with the opportunity, knock it out the park. You get what I mean? To where it's like, they're seeing the results, but they didn't see the years that happened before, when I was back at Howard studying, when I didn't feel like it. When I called my mom and was like, Mom, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And she's like, well, you better keep trying. I didn't send you to DC to not do nothing, or they don't see the times in dental school where I cried, I failed, I've succeeded. But at that one moment, God has prepared me and aligned this. So when that opportunity came, I was comfortable. I was able to do it exactly how I've been doing it for about a year. And I was just like, it was perfect. So if my advice to anybody, work on your craft. And when your time comes, knock it out the park.
I love it. Hey, faith without works is dead. Like, everybody got to remember that. Faith without works is dead. And hard work doesn't come without years of preparation. And that's a major key. So I got to ask about this because this is what everybody, really wants to know in professions where you have folks like that work with a lot of celebrities and dignitaries. Like, what's it like working with celebrities and politicians and dignitaries versus what we would consider regular everyday people? Is there really a difference?
Yeah, there is a difference. And the difference is you get to, somebody's mouth is a very intimate space, right? So I get to see these patients in a different light, if that makes sense. I really get to know them as to what they believe in, what songs do they listen to, who are their favorite artists, when is the last time they've been to the dentist, what trauma they've been through, and really connecting with them outside of me just listening to them and seeing them out, and I feel like it's also as similar to, the regular patients as to I get to know them as well. So one thing I can be grateful for is the profession and working with celebrities and things like that. You really just find a new connection, and patients turn friends, turn family, so it leads to those types of things. So I wouldn't say it's different, but the difference is I really get to know them in a different light than some people, like, even, I don't know if but one of my favorite patients is Sleazy World. Sleazy World Go. Step one, he's doing really good. And when I met him, I'm like, bro, it's so down to earth, like, and his rap is like, we're talking about Dracos, we're talking about the life that he once lived. And now once he came in, I'm like, bro, you're such a dope guy. Like, you are such an amazing person that my perspective changed when I actually met him as who he really was.
Wow. So I just see the family aspect and how you're really bonding with, your patients. And that's what is important. Like, I think people oftentimes in every industry forget the human touch and that human interaction, especially with us having such a distance and a distance, with COVID, us being away from each other. I think we've forgotten that. And just hearing you talk about your relationship with, your clients and how you interact with people, I think that is amazing. And that, listen, like, this is your time.
And I think the thing is too, with celebrities, they enjoy that time because they get to be vulnerable and get to just be them regular selves, without like a camera always in their face or they're on guard, like, you know what I mean, being in that celebrity mode. So it gives them a sense of normalcy, I would say. And I feel like if all of us need that sense of normalcy, regardless of our standard, stature, or title,
So I think this is a great segue into this question, right? What do you want your legacy to be? Because you have years and years and years, of doing this. But when it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be in the medical profession?
Okay. That's a crazy question because I'm only 27, right? I just turned 27, and I have a long way to go. But I believe I truly want my legacy to be that Dr. Q helped me gain my confidence within myself, or regain, or find that confidence that I knew that was within me. And Dr. Q, number one, got me out of pain. He was very ethical. He done things properly, and and I want people to see God's light shine from within me. And the idea behind it is, like I said once before, every person on this earth has something within them that should be loved or should be glorified. And you just have to hone in and dig inside and figure out what that is. And my profession allows someone to see themselves in a better light. And once they have that confidence, that self-love, that belief in themselves, they can take on the world. So I would say I would like my legacy to be God's Dr. Q always spread the gospel, always was positive, showed love, and in addition to that, really allowed me to see something better within myself and to essentially smile. That's exactly what I would like my legacy to be in the dental field.
I love it. I love it. Powerful words. I think this was an amazing conversation. So let's end it like this. Where can we find you on social media, and how can we further support your business? Because you got it going, like the Breakfast Club, shout out, you can go Glorilla, your client, but like we want to support you because we want to pour into our HBCU alum making it happen. So where can we find you on social media, and how can we support you?
So on Instagram and on TikTok and Twitter, it's Dr.Q_. You spell doctor out DOCTOR.Q_, and you can you'll be able to schedule a consultation, figure out a time to sit down with me where we can talk about, what I can do for you specifically. If you're looking to have veneers done, or even if you just want a dentist to take care of your natural smile, because I take care of natural smiles as well. And also, I'm opening an office in Atlanta, Georgia, this upcoming spring, summer of 2023. So if I can have y'all support, come out, come show love. Let's do the ribbon cutting. Let's have something great. I think it would be amazing.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, head to hbcupulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community. Thank you for listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.